so excited about today, and I want to tell you a little bit of story. So, welcome, Lovell. I think this is your first With Heart book circle,
It
and
is. Thank
I'm
you so much.
yeah, and I'm recording so I can share it with other people that have wanted to be at the book circles and have been at others. And life is busy, as you know, but this way, especially with the authors that are coming. I want to honor their work. And again, this is a circle, so we all chat. Um, Everybody knows me, but anybody watching the recording later, I'm Helen Patterson. I'm the founder of LifeWorks Well, an HR consulting boutique, and I help scaling organizations create high-performing, healthy, and heart-centered cultures. And it is really tough work sometimes. So I was just sharing with everybody that I had a really hectic week, and sometimes businesses have to make really tough decisions and cost cut and reorg, and that is not the fun part of my work. I love being proactive versus reactive and really trying to build those heart-centered cultures. But even when you have those difficult situations, you can do it with heart. So I have my heart necklace on today. So the With Heart book circle, I mean, I read a lot of books, and I had been thinking about this idea for quite some time. I'm in a couple other book clubs, personal ones, and I thought it would be really wonderful to have one related to work, to creating healthy work cultures, but also I'm in a lot of women entrepreneur spaces, and I believe, we are the future of work and we are the future of changing the world. So having these female women authors coming on, I'm so excited for this, and everybody's sharing my journey of our logistics and everything else. So today, our guest, oh my gosh, are you visible? We all need this book, and we all need Angélique, because I've been trying to find my voice for a long time. And I met Angélique in Mexico on a beach. We were part of a women's group back in January 2020, talking about our dreams for our business, thinking about what we were going to do. And even back then, she was talking about, are you visible? And I love that she's created this acronym, and I'm going to let her speak about it as well. But just finding our voice and using it, the more women that can do that, I really believe we are the change makers of the future. And everyone here, I know this, that you're here. So Angélique, oh my gosh, you are incredible. Social media love. First of all, love and heart. We were aligned from the beginning. Um, but she is a successful business owner. She's also done a TED Talk. She's a best-selling author, not only of Are You Visible, but also part of another book. And her story is, just so raw. And this is the thing about being authentic. But she helps women business owners also find that presence online and doing it, being you. So anyway, I know you've read about her bio when you signed up. I'm going to let her introduce herself a little bit. And what I wanted, just one thing, because I have to read this, because visible is where you reconnect with your voice, ideas, stories, irresistible offers, beliefs, leadership, and expertise. So I am going to hand it over to you, Angélique, if you want to add anything else. But I would just love you to share. I mean, this last year for you has been just incredible. And so I'd love you to share how you ended up coming to this journey, and um, how we can really step into that power. So there, that's a lot. Okay, over to you.
Hello, I got all the answers for you. We're done in 5 minutes. I love it. Thank you so much. And I love that you reminded me that we met on the beach because you brought me back right there. I remember, I see the lawn chair. It was a tiny beach. I was on one, and then you came along, and then we started to dream out loud. And so I think that's why I want to bring back is that keep on dreaming, and because this is how it works. When you start allowing to yourself to hear your dreams, and then sharing them with people who are, safe to share with. This is, the universe listens, and then it happens. So that's kind of, this year was for me the achievement of all that work. Like, I see you and I see Karen, and you are two women who were part of, I think, one of the major how do you say that, leap of faith that I've done in 2019, I think, or even before, where I met our coach in 2015. And I think that's a message I want to share, is that 2015, like the idea of having a coach, having someone to help you, like the idea of getting help was completely outside of my, I didn't even think about it. I thought it was for rich people. Like, it was a world that was like far away from me. I didn't belong to that world. And then I think that's where everything started, when I realized that getting help, so you get the help, but you meet a community, and Helen and Karen, you were part of that community. And that's how I started to become accountable to others about, I was not just here to play something. It was like I was here to build my life. And that's very scary. But I think that everything started there, where like the dreamy part of me became like the rubber hit the road. That was when I met you, ladies. So it's so special to see you on the screen. And then 2025, and I turned 50 yesterday. And I just want to share this because, Hélène, I'll share the photo after. When you say, can you tell us what happened in the last few years and everything? I could die today and I did it all, right? But I'm not gonna die. I have more to do. But my husband did a surprise party last night. And he, in Canada, you speak in inches. I don't know if you have Americans here too, like, I don't know, inches versus centimeters, right? And then he wanted to have a full wall of all what happened in my life in the last 50 years, but also the last year or so. And so he ordered on Canva like a big panel with photos of me and all the women that I supported along the years, and the TEDx and the books and everything. And then it came like huge. So it's the full living room is covered of a huge banner of all the photos of me, like having fun with all the women I work with. And I was looking at it last night, and I'm like, so wow, all the things we're capable of doing. And when you see it in one shot covering a wall, I was like, not even thinking it was about me. Like, I was like, what? So my message here is like, whatever you have in your heart, like, hold it tight and share it with people you feel safe to be sharing it with, because we underestimate the power of working with other women. And when you say, women are changing the world or finding a new way of being and generating revenues while impacting lives, like from the way we want, that is so true. And it's happening at the more you open yourself to authenticity and vulnerability, the faster it becomes. So that's my message. That's why I did a TEDx and a book in 6 months. Like, from a brain perspective, that was not possible, but it happened. And it was awesome. And it has a ripple effect on so many lives that don't even belong to the book anymore. My book is not mine anymore.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
And especially for some of us here, are working on books and wanting to get them out as well. And so this is part of using our voice, right? And I was just a couple of things I wanted to ask, and I'm going to open it up quickly to everybody, because it's really, this is everybody that's been at the book club. Some book circles, they have read the book, or sometimes they don't, because the conversation's still great anyway, and they'll read it later. But one of the things is, like, you and I and a couple other people here, we've done that future her work, 10 years out. What's that vision we have? And it's so interesting because I started looking back. Well, when you said 2015 earlier, I thought, where was I 10 years ago? And how do I, like, keep this vivid vision. There's a book we read in our book circle, Vivid Vision, but when I was reading this, I was like, that's the thing is we can't let go of that. And I am not the person I was 10 years ago. I was in one of the toughest. My brother had passed the year before, like if I'm thinking about this time, the year before, um, I was just in dealing with things with my mother. My marriage wasn't great. There was so many things that were happening. I was starting my deeper healing journey. That's 10 years ago. So I was a completely different person. I mean, it's still, my essence doesn't waver too much, but you do go through those ups and downs in life. So it's like, I wanted to read this. You said it's about blending unwavering faith with tangible actions. It's about seeing the future with such clarity and conviction that it can't help but materialize. And I mean, right away, I mean, I have all my underlines and all of these other things too, but I thought maybe you can share because, when we think about it, even when we were on that beach in 2020 and Karen was there, and it was, we were excited about our dreams. And then a few months later is when the pandemic hit. So, things will happen in life. You will have losses and you will have tough times. So how do you, and I know the whole program of being visible, but how do you keep strong in that conviction and clarity?
Yeah. Um, so how do you keep strong is by not being strong. By stopping that game of being strong and feeling all the feelings and so that's what I think that's what I had to learn the most is to be willing to feel my all my feelings, feel the emotions. We always say in my world that emotions are the language of your body and thoughts are the language of your mind. So we're not taught to feel our feelings, so we are taught to suppress them so that we don't show them because we don't want to be too much. We don't want to be, like especially in the work I do with visibility with women entrepreneurs. This is always where we start, whether I want or not. We always go back to that little girl who was told that she was too much. She was showing too much skin, that she was crying all the time, that she was too loud, that she thought she was someone else, like pretending to be like a sassy girl. Like all the things are censorship. Like it's part of our culture. And then we come to the world of entrepreneurship with, okay, so I have to do it all, but be quiet, be like smooth, blend, and all the things. And so we die, like we die inside. So how do you keep vivid is by learning how to feel your emotions and learning that feeling your emotions can be that at the same time you can feel so much joy and so much shame, for example, like being okay with the all scope of emotions and not judging them. So for me, that's how I can allow my vision to come in because I am not judging who I am now. And if I do, I see it. So I do. So 2 days ago, I'm going to share. I'm always very like raw the day before my birthday. And so I went to the bathroom, I went in front of the mirror, I look into my eyes, and I'm like, what do you want of the next half century? Knowing that my grandmother is 104. So I'm ready for this. And the answer that came naturally, and I pour into tears, it was like, you got to love yourself more starting tomorrow or today or whatever. I don't know, something came up along that line. So this is really a story around loving yourself so much that you let your vision come in, because we're the only one who are stopping our visions to happen because of all the, the limitations we have, the thoughts that we allow to have every day. If you don't pick and choose your thoughts, you're screwed. So you have to learn that, the language of your mind, the language of your nervous system, listening to your body, like the body is the answer. And so when I don't feel my vision is accessible anymore, where I feel far away from my vision, this is because there is something going on in my body. And so I do, the work of the somatic work that you were mentioning at the beginning, like really being in my body. When I am in my head, I'm not in my vision. When you are in my body, I am in my vision. I feel like the woman next year, like literally my vision right now. um, it's also the other aspect of the vision is to, yes, have a very specific vision, because everything happens. Like dream big, like say it with no fear. Everything is coming to you. It's already there. Are you ready for it? Are you ready to receive it? So that's the work I do on myself, to be ready to receive it. So right now on my visions, I don't know where it is exactly, but each time I go, so there is two scenes that I bring in every day. I don't know where it is. It's huge. It's like a stadium, but it's like in Paris. But it's because there is like curtains, velvety curtains, and it's packed of people. And there is someone behind the curtain that's like doing this to me, and it feels that that's it. That's here. That's finally the day. We are in it. And I cry every time, every day I cry. I don't know who it is. I don't know what it is. I don't even know if it's with women. I don't know. You don't need to know everything. The only responsibility we have is to dream big and try to not try, like really say what you want in that vision. And then when you do your visualization exercise that teaches your body to feel the emotions of your future in the present, so that when the future is present, you already know how it feels to be in that scene. You don't even realize that you're in your vision. And that happens to me, like that sensation on the TEDx talk. And I was on the TEDx stage, and I had like a flashback. I was like, where am I? Am I on the stage, or am I in my vision? Am I visualizing? Like, no, I was in it. Like the body, it becomes seamless. The body doesn't know the difference. Like your mind doesn't know the difference between what's now and what's in the future, but the body feels it in the present, and that's very real. So just want to share this because I was very conservative with my vision at first. And then when you start playing with that and see that it's happening, and if you're not concise enough, it might happen in another way that you didn't expect. And you're like, oh, maybe I should have added those details. So it's really being very not scared of your own vision. And I think that's what I see in a lot of women. We're super scared of what we're capable of.
Wow. Yeah, that's incredible. I know there's comments in the chat as well, and I do want to open it up quickly to others. There's just one more part I want to because I love this. I wrote in the book, love this section. I have stars. It's page 52 in my book, but for generations, the role of women has been dictated by what society needs rather than what women desire for themselves. And this suppression has caused so many women to fear being seen as their authentic selves. Even though women are constantly breaking barriers, defying expectations, and redefining themselves, remnants of generational and societal restrictions linger and hold back progress. I mean, this is the whole thing about unwavering belief. And like we have so much coming at us in that we've had, for me, this has been part of my life for years. And yet there's so many people, and I'm just looking right now, I'm researching a little bit about the gender gap and pay equity. And it's like, we progress, but then there's this stopping. So how do you, what made you write that piece? I'm just so curious about what was going on for you and what would you share? And that's my last question. Then I'm going to open it up and people can introduce themselves when they ask the question as well.
Yes.
I know that's a lot because I'm always putting a lot out there as like I want to
Yeah.
know deeper connection about this. How do we move past this?
I think uh, so when I wrote, I remember like it was I remember exactly. So for those who don't know, I wrote most of my book at Starbucks on Sunday evenings. And I remember that part because so I'm going to try to explain what I mean. It's in our body, it's in our cells that even if, with great awareness, we are moving the needles and we are like very clear about all of this, it is part of it's imprinted in our nervous system, in our cells, in everything we do. And at that time, I was reading a lot about witches and the culture in the UK and Europe and in here, and also I was reading a lot about secret societies of women who changed the world, like in the 18th century, in the 17th century. There were women gathering secretly, to bring, for example, abortion, to bring all the things that the power of women is so strong because we are so connected to our intuition, and when we allow it, even to myself, like my level of intuition, now that I'm way more connected to it, I am accessing new realms that I'm like, oh, that's not a joke. Like, this is really a thing. We're connected in a way that, of course, that must be scary to people who have power, like the power of administration and stuff like this, because we don't need that. We are it, and if we activated it, it's so powerful. So the operation of that for centuries is a huge trauma for women, no matter who it is. We carry that, and it's still very poignant in some culture, in some countries. And we carry that, so we carry that for all the women, because we're so powerful because of that connection to our intuition, that we know things without even explaining them. We know. And when you get to that knowing and own it, and you go on a stage, and so I'm gonna tell you what I do right now. I'm testing it. So I keep being my own, devil's advocate. I'm like, okay, let's see if it works even there. Last weekend I went on a stage. There was a bigger stage for me locally, and I had the presentation, but my knee is like fuck the presentation. Like, so I had some slides, but I felt the women in there. I felt them. I felt they were quiet, they were constricted. There were like 80 women maybe, and I'm like, something in me was like, let's go right in. And I don't know what I say. I don't know. It's like almost a trance. I put the clicker, was still going through the slide, but I was not respecting my script. And and listen to this. Like, the next speaker could not be heard because all the women got up and lined up to get my book. And so the organizers were like, can we postpone like all that book thing and do it at the end, because nobody could hear it's not because of the other speaker or because of me. It's because in every woman there is a part. If you give it a yes, I go for it, I listen to it, I connect to it, like, it gives you that energy to grow, to go after it. And women, all what they wanted the book, but they wanted a hug. And I cried with almost each of them. It was like giving that permission to release that. And they were from all over the world. There was a lot of new immigrants, actually. So it was different culture, covered, not covered, almost naked, like, all of that. We were all feeling the same, I don't know, like a pulse that you press and then right? I just share that because I really know that. I feel it more and more. And I think this is, how do you keep to your vision? How do you keep pushing the societal things? I think it's by owning that part of us more and more. And what I see more and more in my environment is that there are more and more men and non-men and non-women who are starting to open up to that energetic, that spiritual layers that we are, rather than pretending we're just humans. So that's my take on it. You're mute.
Yeah, I just was saying amazing and taking a breath. Um,
You make me cry.
Oh,
Yeah, I
just
cry a lot. Like when I talk right now, I have to accept that. So no makeup.
no. Oh, good. Well, you know what? And hey, it's just continuing to feel that. I mean, we all have our stories here as far as, being visible and everything else. I want to open it up to anyone here who would like to ask a question. It really is a circle, so it's inclusive. Everybody, I love to have them have an opportunity to have a chat with you and or ask a question about the book or even just generally. So is there anyone that has something they'd really like to comment on or ask Angélique? And then do a quick intro of yourself just so that everybody knows you. Okay, I think Emmeline, I see your hand up, so we'll let you go first. And then I mentioned at the beginning, I have to hop off just for a few minutes to deal with a bit of a challenge for a client, unfortunately. But Emmeline, who's part of our team, is going to help facilitate as well. So yeah, go ahead and ask, and then you can get the next person going, Emmeline. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Hi everyone. My question, it's so funny because I really honed in on it when you mentioned it. I find it so interesting. Um, Someone asked me to write an article a few days ago about serendipity, and without even realizing, I sort of like said exactly what you said, which makes me think I'd like to hear it from you. My grandma used to tell me that we don't know what we get ourselves ready for in life. We just show up and get ready. For what? That's the mystery and that's the lesson. And like Steve Jobs said in his commencement speech for was it Stanford? I think Stanford in 2005. He said you can't connect the dots. You can only connect the dots retrospectively when you look backwards, right? That's when you see the shape and the pattern of the life that you've built for yourself. And so my question is how in this sort of complete spiritual conscious awareness and openness that you seem to inhabit at the moment, how do you sort of navigate this liminal space of surrender on one side, intention on the other, and you sort of like tread it in the middle? And what do you do as active, powerful steps to maintain this readiness to keep on preparing for God knows what, really? Do you know what I mean?
I like that for God knows what. The big
Something we don't know what, but that's we don't want to know. We want to be surprised. But what do you do on a day-to-day basis to maintain that sort of connection to the preparation element?
I love this question because I cannot turn my computer because I would risk to lose you. But if I were to turn my computer, so I have 12 huge, yellow stickies like that. So one of them say surrender to the unknown. This is the key. This is the key to everything because when you're so human, you are so like you're like always say you're like a dog on a bone. They won't let the bone go, right? So that was me for many years, and it's exhausting. So surrendering, and I always wondering what is surrendering. What does that mean? I always had that image that when you surrender, like you're like you go down, and then you're done, like your little pieces that we never go back up again. But surrendering, I had to learn it exactly a year and a half ago, where I really touched it, like for what it is. And surrendering is the most vulnerable, scary, and almost unhuman things to do. Like it's a letting go of and literally I do it even physically. I go down, like I have always a yoga mat behind my desk where I lay on the floor when I need to surrender. But it's surrendering is like not, it is about so first again going back to this feeling all the feelings that there is that moment. without judging them. And beyond that, so you surrender so much, you don't judge anything that is coming. And then there is an external circumstance that comes in that is like, what the how can I handle this and this and another one, and then the client is not happy, or the kid is doing this, or the neighbor is this, and then you are inside of you and you're like, how can I get out of all of this? That it's an internal thing that you feel, but it's an acceptance of being so human and feeling that human thing in you, and accepting the beautiful human, the thoughts you have, the emotions you have, without judging them. And then there is the other layer of you that really knows that the universe has your back. But as a human, you have to learn to bow. You bow down without judging, without seeing that as a going down, actually, by just being, feeling it all, and releasing any expectation, and just connecting to that knowing that everything works for your highest good, even when it sucks so bad. And in that state, that is, those are just words. You have to feel it to know what it is. And so it's again, and when you go, and there is no end to this, there is more and more surrendering all the time. That's what I think, I feel, I live, I experience. But the more you allow yourself to surrender, to go to that, it's like a void of letting go anything human about yourself. And the more this is what creates space to the new, like a new version of you who is okay. So now I can receive, because there is some healing as well that happens in your surrendering. There is some parts of you that you let go forever, that you cannot drag anymore. They're the ones that are stopping you right there. What do you need to release today? And that's the healing part that I didn't talk much about, but this is the key to everything, like the part that the human parts of us that needs to heal and let go, so that the new human that you shape every day with your nervous system, with the new thing that seems maybe unfamiliar today, that becomes your new normal. Like I was telling my husband, it's been a year of speaking, really more and more. Last Sunday, I didn't even realize I was on the stage, like that my feet were on the stage. It's almost, I don't say I'm gonna test it more, but I think I'm getting to the point that it's my new normal to be on a stage. I didn't even see that I was not on the floor anymore. I was already on the stage when I realized I was on the stage. So that's how your nervous system, that you are imprinting your nervous system new codes of your new reality, your new normal, and everything we want is in the unnormal world. So this is why fear is important. As soon as you recognize your fear, most people stop. In my world, this is the green light. Fear is, oh, great, I'm in the right direction. Oh no, I'm gonna have to do that. Really? Yes, girl. And there is so much work to do around the body, to teach your body to be safe in the unfamiliar. And this is when you use the surrendering of the whole human part of you that need to let go of that old identity and know that there is something, that you're always co-creating. That's the part in the surrendering. You got to surrender to let the co-creator with you, like, be ready for the next level and receive. Because we all want the millions, we all want the love, we all want the whatever we want. But are we ready to receive it? And that it takes those healing, surrendering moments. And it's not a chronological thing. And that's why, we talk about collapsing time, synchronicities, because when you're ready, when your body is ready, it's like, oh my God, this is it. There is no calendar appointments for when it happens. It just happens. Does that make sense? Does that answer? That was a tricky one.
Absolutely, it completely makes sense.
Okay.
It completely makes sense. Thank you.
That's my take on it. That's my experience rather than my take. That's what I've learned. Karen.
Hi.
Hello.
I just want to I don't really, it's not really a question. I just kind of want to add to that because you and I started our journeys kind of at the same time. And I didn't even realize till I started reading the book how similar our journeys are because we both met at the same event. We both went to Mexico. I, like you, felt I had no business being in that space with those women who are making $1 million in their business, because I was nowhere near that. And I thought, I am such an imposter right now. But we're still here and we're still doing it. And I think this is one of the things that got drilled into us when we were in Mexico, and it still just plays in my mind all the time is often what we think we are scared of is failure. So we're fearing that we're going to fail, but it really is that we're scared of success. And it goes back to that programming, like Helen had asked the question about, where women have been programmed to play small. We're not supposed to be too much. We're not supposed to be running the world. And I think that's what the voices that play in our head when this fear comes along is, oh my gosh, what if I am successful? And then what are people going to say? And how are people going to judge me? And what are they going to think of me? And that is the hardest voice, the silence, I think, is all of that, what other people are going to think when I reach this success. And then, oh shit, what do I do now? Like now people are paying attention to me. Now people are watching me. And that's totally the visibility part is shit, people are seeing me. I have to keep going. And, you know, it's this really healthy fear, which I didn't think was really healthy for a long time. And I loved reading about your story and how you keep working to own the fear. And like Catherine said in the comment, like fear is go time. When it's scaring the shit out of you, it means go. Just do it. And we're not supposed to know how we're going to get there. We just need to see where we're going.
Yeah, fear.
So I love that.
Yeah, I love that you bring fear. Like fear is so important, and then like I don't know where we've learned that fear is a barrier, that fear is not a good sign, when in fact it's the total contrary. It's the sign of growth, and there is no need to push through it. There is in our world we call this dancing with your fears. And now I have to teach it to the women I work with. We have 6 ways to dance with our fears, and it's not through pushing. That's the other thing. We are addicted to everything that is hard, and we think that if we are successful at something, it gotta be bleeding, suffering, painful, and hard. So that's another thing that I shifted as well in the way I do things. As soon as it started to feel hard, I'm like, pause. How can I make this 5% more easy or easier or more fun? And that is it. I'm just gonna go back to last weekend because it was another realization of the work I do on myself. I'm not just teaching it, I do it. I was like, I had a full outfit that I looked like a woman in business because it was a woman in business event. I'm like, fuck that. I don't want to be dressed like that. I went with Vans, my almost a hood. It was like a kind of a hoodie, a t-shirt that was saying "Your voice matters." I looked like I was coming from the gym, but I felt good. And when I say what others think of you are none of your business, I want to embody that person. It's just not nice quotes you put on a t-shirt. You got to embody what you want to believe in, and that's when it gets scary. So I love that you bring back fear because fear is the key. No fear.
Yes.
Mm.
And I love
hug
how,
our fear. Hug our fear. Hello, fear. How
yeah.
you doing
And I
today?
love that you highlighted that we can feel two very opposite emotions at the same time. So it can be scary as hell, but it can also be so amazing.
Yes.
And you can be really sad about something, but still really happy about something else.
Yes.
And I just had an example this morning, actually, with this guy that I know who lives in Alberta. I've known him for years, and we were chatting, and he said something about whatever. My response was, I've been single for longer than I was ever in a relationship. I think that's how I'm meant to be for the rest of my life. And he wrote, "Oh my gosh, that's so sad. I hope that you haven't given in to despair." I'm like, hell no, I've never been happier. Like, you got that message all wrong. I don't need to be in a relationship to be happy. And I have never had a better life than I have right now. And I said, and if a man ever comes into it, he's going to have to be one hell of a man to make me change anything about my life, because my life is incredible. And I was like, dude, you are so wrong. So, it's about living beyond other people's expectations of how you should feel and what you should do, and owning who you are and
Mhm.
being so bold. I love that boldness of wearing whatever you want on stage,
Yeah.
because I'm that
And
person
it
too.
felt so good. And actually, there was even a photo shoot of me on stage. My husband is my photographer. And I'm like, well, that looked good.
And it's proof, though, that what you're wearing, and someone we both know posted a thing on LinkedIn the other day about how we have to look good and be skinny to be successful. And I was like, no, I'm not skinny. And I've never thought that the fact that I am not ripped had anything to do with how successful I am. And I don't think the clothes we wear have anything to do with how successful we are. And you proved it by the women who ran to your table to buy your book.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
I didn't do the connection. And thank you, Karen.
yeah. So it doesn't matter. They weren't going, "Oh my God, what is she wearing?" They were listening to your message, and they were like, I don't think when I stand on stage, they're like, "Oh my God, look at her ass. Like, she put on 20 pounds since I saw her last." Like, I don't think anybody thinks that, because they're listening to what I have to say. And I think we really need to own that as women, is we aren't what we look like. We are so much bigger than that.
I'm gonna would love everyone else, but because I have my little stickies, you know
I
me.
love this. I want a
Page
photo with your sticky.
66, page 66. This is exactly what you said. The most important part of showing up in authenticity is releasing the attachment to what others think about it. And I'm like, it's so hard. And so for me growing, I was a people pleaser. I was always worried about everything. I had so much anxiety. Oh my gosh. To let go of and just be my silly self. And, I'm very comfortable in smaller groups, but, I tried to fit in that corporate mold and wear the high shoes. My feet are ruined from that, for crying. But like the business suit and oh, forget it. Like, look at, this is color. This is vibrancy. Like, so the more I'm myself, and it's just so freeing. Anyway, I'm just going to comment on that. And thank you for that. I love that line. Lovell or Dee or Catherine. I know Catherine, you can't come on video, but if anybody would love to go next, it looks like Lovell, you're taking off your audio. So over to you. I'm so happy you're here.
Sure. Thank you so much, first of all, Helen, for organizing this. I think this is lovely, and I'm too bad for me. I've missed all of the previous ones, but never too late, right? And thank you as well, Angelique, for not only coming on today, but also writing all this and sharing all your thoughts and insights. I really appreciate that. I do have to admit, I didn't get through the whole book, and I've just started to read it. But that this one concept of fear is like a green light, and it is, it's just when you see it, it means go. Was such a different concept, and you frame it as as a powerful tool rather than how we've all known it for years and generations, and so that was really eye-opening. I do have a question around that, but I want to comment on something. I also wrote it in the chat when you were speaking about the power that we have and we just suppress it. It was like that was so powerful. I got emotional right there, and so many thoughts going through my mind. And So I will tell you, give you a little bit of background. I'm a Hindu by religion. And, in Hinduism, we pray to a female version of God, and we recognize that the female version is divine and it brings balance um, between the spiritual realms and the worldly realms of our society and everything. But I'm going to be very vulnerable here, but it is we pray to that version of God, and nevertheless, neither the men nor the women remember it. So when you're praying and when you are in front of that idol, we do idol worship. So when you're in front of that picture of that goddess or a statue of that goddess, you're praying, you're thinking, oh my God, this is divine, and women are so powerful, and all of that. 10 minutes, 15 minutes, half hour, 1 hour, whatever anybody is praying, you step away from that, and that is all forgotten. Men, when they are treating women, men, when they're interacting with women, the same men who have been praying 15 minutes back, they're so different with the actual woman in your life, whether it's their mom, whether it's their wife or child or whoever, all the women in their life, they forget about all of that, and they don't think us as that divine power. And even women, it's so sad, even women, when they're interacting with their girl child, when they're interacting with other women, with their daughter-in-law or mother-in-law or mom or whoever, that whole concept is forgotten. It's just the idol or the picture or the goddess that we pray to is divine and is powerful. But we are a version of all of that. So I'm a very religious person, and during COVID, many people used to watch hours and hours of Netflix or cooking or whatever. Certain things happened, and because of that, I moved towards spirituality. So I started listening to a lot of spiritual videos and people, and read a little bit more about that. I'm just, just this much I'm past whatever such vast topic that has to be learned and practiced. So my thing was, the days I don't hear any spiritual video or whatever, I just forget about all of that. So it resonated so much, Angelique, what you were saying, it resonated so much with me that you have to surrender. And I have seen this in years and years of my life. I'm praying, please, can I get this? Please, can I get this? And I don't get it. And, then I'm talking to God and saying, okay, what happened? I really wanted this. 2 months later, 2 days later, a few weeks later, some things happen where I feel, my God, you were looking after me, because if what I had asked for had happened, then it would have been not really good for me or my family or whatever. So, like, we are all humans, and I'm still learning, and it's a huge learning journey. I don't know how many years it will take, or if at all, to surrender. But I try and practice it as much as I can to say, okay, this has happened to me. There is a reason. Somewhere, some divine power is taking care of me and looking after me, because of which this has happened. So I really thank you for bringing that up, the power of surrender. It is very, very difficult, I will tell you that. But the moments when I do it, I feel that was the right thing. I feel okay, great that I could do it, and it was really good. So thank you for just refreshing that for me.
Thank you.
I do appreciate that.
Thank you for sharing. That's yeah. Yeah. Do you allow me to to add to what you just said?
Yes, absolutely. I'd love
Okay.
more on that.
Yeah. So I used to be very religious when I was a little girl. I had a secret what? Okay, I'm just gonna describe it. You can put a word on it. I think I talk about it in the book. It's under a root of a tree. It was like a shrine where I was going to pray. I had a very deep connection with Mary in the Catholic religion where I was raised. And I don't know, it was like my sacred space. And I was like, I didn't know at the time I was 10. No, it was like a habit, religion as a habit more than anything. But when I was going to my little shrine under the tree, it was more than a habit. There was something bigger. And the only thing I knew was my religion because that's, I was raised in that, right? Then I'm going to share something. Then a friend of mine who is like anti-God of all kind said, "But Angélique, we are the God." I'm like, "What do you mean?" Like, and then life, like that was like 30 years ago, okay? And then I am not a religious person at all. I even don't believe in God. I reconnected with the word God through the work of spirituality, where people call God universe, energy, source. That's one of the words that came back in my life. I'm like, oh my God, is that another God? Like, I studied religions. I wanted to understand why people were killing themselves over religions. So I studied all my post-secondaries about religion, history in the world, and the wars and geopolitics and all the things, trying to understand what are those humans fighting over religions. And so the word God came back to me like quite recently, I guess, 5, 6 years ago. And I don't say the word, I talk about the universe because I really feel that there is something, an energy that is bigger than us. And I was very like reluctant to talk about it until recently, where I'm like, I've been playing with it and it kind of worked. So I love when you said, "Oh God, what did I do? It didn't work, and then it happened." Like, for you, it's that goddess. For me, it's the universe, and I love that when you are open to not restrict yourself in a box and allow others to be who they are, then we can have that type of conversation. I just want to bring awareness of the type of conversation we're having right now, where everybody's like interested in how everybody is perceiving and experiencing something, and we're not gonna kill each other at the end. I just love that. That's our power right there. So I just wanted to bring that to you. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, that was quite again, I am religious, but like I'm moving on to a spiritual journey, and that all the videos, all the readings that I do in that space, it says exactly what you said, that we don't know if there is a God or not, but we ourselves are part of God. So the other person in front of you is also part of God. So respect everyone. And, so yeah, it's about not necessarily a God, but
Yeah, yeah.
there is some power somewhere which is taking care of us. And, that's why we also talk about giving back and volunteering and doing service to others, because again, we all know about the karma as well. It comes back. So anything good or bad that is happening to us, which we perceive as good or bad, it is, we can make our lives better by doing service to others. That is my learning. So I don't want to take away from you and from what the conversation actually is about, and not steer it towards spirituality. But like I said, I do have a question, if it is okay with everyone.
Yeah, if you want to. And then I think Emmeline had one, and I wanted to make sure Dee and Catherine have a chance too. So go
okay,
ahead.
no, that's okay. Then go
No,
ahead.
no,
It's
go
okay.
ahead. Yeah,
It
this
was
is
about
it's okay. We never know where the conversation is going, right? This is just whoever's meant to be here today is here, and it's all good.
Okay,
Go
thank you.
ahead, Lovell. And we do usually stay on till 11:15 for those who want
Okay,
to hang around. So it's all good. I'd love to hear your question too. So
sure. So my question was about the green light, like you said, it should just act as, okay, something good is going to happen, and it should, it has the power, to, so how do we get to that, and how do we reframe that fear in our mind so that it's not really fear, but it brings that power?
Yeah. So I just want to, you said something good's gonna happen to me. So it's beyond that. And that's, I think, part of, the reconnection to who we are is, number one, you got to be clear, but you got to be clear. No, you got to allow yourself to hear your real desire inside of you. So that once you are very clear, when you are in connection to your desire, and sometimes our desire is surprising ourselves, and we have a tendency to judge it. But when you have a desire, a desire cannot be shaped or formed. It is there. So number one is connecting to that. This is so strong because from that desire, this is what's gonna shape your vision. This is what gonna shape what you desire the most in your life. And if most of us here are, I don't know, I just turned 50. But so if 50 years of not knowing what is the desire inside of you, it will ruffle some feathers the day you decide to connect to that desire, because we've been living like ignoring that desire. And then the day you start working like the work you're doing right now, Lovell, like spirituality, opening up, hearing more about you and connecting more to your body, to your energetics and all the things, you're gonna be in touch with that desire. That's gonna scare you the fuck out of you. And because this is not how you've been living for 50 years or 60 years or 40 or whatever, decades of life. And the thing that I see, and that's what I thought too, that we feel that if we want to really, be true to ourselves and really go after our desire and respect that desire, we have to let everyone and everything go. That everything's gonna fall apart if I go and respect my desire, if I honor my desire. This is not true. Like whatever needs to go will go because this is meant to be, because not because of your desire, it's because at some point in your life you decide to honor your desire. But I thought it would happen like in one shot, and then I would be all alone and oh my god, now it's me and my desire and what's but this is the beauty of the co-creation. When you're clear about your desire and then you start taking aligned action, dancing with your fears every day, it's not a big thing. It's being true to yourself every day that creates the path to really put in place whatever your desire is guiding you to. So that's number one. Being able to really identify what you desire. And that's so beautiful. I think that it's an act of love towards yourself so much, to be honest, so honest that you can recognize what is your deepest desire right now. And I had that with a client the other day. She said, but right now my deepest desire is to be outside. Like I want just to go and not being with my kids and my husband and just be alone. So what a human feels right away, judging. I'm a bad mother, like what people are gonna think. I can't do that. This is not tolerable. All the things, right? So this is when you surrender. Like how can you listen to your desire, even if it's completely anti what your life looks like right now? And then so the work we did together is to learn to accept that it was her desire without judging it. And then she felt sad because she thought she was the best mom, and she attached best mom to being with the kids, or like all the things that are societal, right? So it's that's a number one step, to be so true to yourself that your desire may not be like all, oh, I want a beautiful garden with little, it might be something that you're not ready to hear. And that's okay. So it's receiving that, connecting this, looking at the beauty of it, feeling the feelings of what comes up, because when you start to really connect to your desire and respect them, then this is when change happens. And this is when fears comes in. No, you're gonna stay there. You've been always like this. What you want is outside of that circle here. So the key to go there is gonna be to work on everything that is your nervous system, so that your body, it's always the body that stops us. So my fears for me are so strong. If I ignore them and I don't do the dances that I teach, I went to ER 3 times. Like, the body's gonna stop you. The body won't let you do something that is outside of your comfort zone if you don't bring it with you. So managing the fear and dancing with it will require a body, not just a head and a strategy around fear management. It really requires that you teach your nervous system that it is safe to be you, to become, to go after your desire, to go after your vision, whatever it looks like. And then you're going to teach your body to be safe. And there is a lot of work. And so if you're in the spiritual work more and more, you probably are doing also more and more somatic work around breath, around, tapping, about EFT, about all the things that gets our nervous system like, no, I'd rather stay where I am rather than going and ask my family, like, I want to go on a vacation alone. And you don't have to explain why, you don't have to explain the how, no, I want to be, and that's it. And it doesn't mean anything about you, it doesn't mean anything about them. It's about, I'm just giving an example of little things where when you start to listen to what you desire the most, number one, that's a taste of freedom, right? And when you don't have to justify the why and the how you want and need, or not need, but desire something, and you're gonna make it happen for yourself. And yeah, so that's why I don't have time to teach you right now to how to dance with your fears, but I want to go back to the most important part is to be really connected to your deepest desire first, and then trust comes with surrender. Trust that you will find your path through it, and there are different ways to do it, but the key is not just to play with your fear, is to really be clear about what do you desire. What does Lovell desires? Truly.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Lovely. We can all use that. Emmeline, I know you had your hand up, so no, it's okay. Dee, do you have any question or comment? Or I'm so happy you're here. I love seeing a new face. So welcome.
Good
You can quickly
morning.
introduce yourself too. And honestly, we can stay on for like, 10, 15 more minutes. If Angélique, if you're okay.
I'm okay. I'm
Um,
totally
okay.
okay.
Dee, go ahead.
Yeah, well, good morning. I'm really excited to be here, and happy belated birthday, Angélique.
Thank you.
And thank you for organizing this. So, this was going to be, so my name is Dee Bosselbuck, and I'm a LinkedIn strategist. This was going to be a little bit of a question, but I have my pencil and you've been like sharing some things, and I'm like, oh, Angélique kind of answered it. But like with regards to myself, I find that I can definitely own the fear, like I can face it. And funny, like Helen, when you came back on the call, you had your hand extended about hugging the fear. And for me, what I do is I can, in good times, I literally like put this fearful, so my full name is Denise. I like put her over here, always to the left. And if I need to work on something tough, it's like, yeah, I see you here. I see you there, but I'm not going to deal with you right now. I have to get this thing done. So, but when it comes to like owning the fear, I find that I'm able to do it much more better. Like when I get this like wave of momentum. So something really great happens, and then I can just like ride that wave, and then it can keep me going for months. Like something had occurred last September, and I showed up and I got a lot of great feedback. And I got in that day. It was from a networking event. I was like, oh, I'm amazing. I'm awesome. And I just kept on going with it. And it went for like a good 3 months, like really great things were happening for my personal life and for my business. And then enter the holidays, things get quiet. And then that's where that momentum for me can get a little bit lost. And now it's like, how can I face that fear now and be consistent and not wait for that wave or permission? So, you've had some really great points about, connecting with that deepest desire. Like there's things that I really want. And then, trusting that that path is going to happen. So that's what I got out of it. But that's just where I'm coming from with how I deal with fear.
I love it. And if you allow me, I'd like to add on what you say, Dee. And that's actually, so I run programs, and then so we started the new cohort of Magic with Social Media Love, and the theme is, who are you in the gap? Because everything is, well, exactly how you described it, like everything thrive, and then you can't believe, like it's bam, 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 and then, oh, who are we in the gap? And so that I had to learn that for myself. And when you observe, so it's always about being the observer of yourself without judging yourself. What I see is that we have a tendency that as soon as it stops, the water stops, like, especially as a business, we're like, oh my God, it's not working anymore. Or, oh my God, how can I do that again? Just the energetics of that is the killer of the game, right? It's not about how to do it again. It's about what else is coming. It's another sticky that is here on my right. What else is coming? So when you are in the energy, how come it's not working like it was in the last 6 months? How can I make a repeat of the last 6 months? We are in lack already, right there. And entrepreneurship is the beautiful school for all of this, right? Like we have gaps and we have, like they call it, peaks and valleys stuff. But the key is, who are we in the gap? And so one of my mentor, there is a question, two questions, I'm going to share that with you. That's very tangible, because we are talking about very intangible things, but it comes with very tangible things, right? The first question I asked myself, if your program was filled up right now, what would you do today? Just feel the difference of energy and actions you're gonna take today. And then repeat that every day. It brings you in a new energy of creation, and you're gonna create something that is probably not like it was six months ago, where it was rolling so well. We have that thing as human. We want to, oh, it's so good, I want more of it. Instead of trusting, they were still in creation mode. It might be a quieter phase, because something huge is coming, Dee. Are you ready for it? So there is that. The other question that for me brings me back in the gap, and who am I in the gap? If I keep doing what I did in the last 7 days, will my business grow?
Mm-hmm.
That's usually answered by itself, the question. Especially if the last 7 days you're like wondering why it's not working like 6 months ago. You know what I mean? So those two questions are very tangible questions in terms of what the doing of things, but it also shows the being of who you are when you have no proof in front of you that it can work again. And you gotta trust that it is always working for you, because if you look back, I don't even know you, Libby. I know it's working quite well for you, right? So when we're in the gap, even in our relationship, who are we in the gap is the determinant of the reality we're creating. If you're in your old pattern, old habits, or old limitation, old emotional addictions, guess what? We are back in the past, right? So this is something I personally like go deep right now on it. Who am I in the gap? Who am I in the gap? So I'm inviting you to play with that. Just observe, journal about it. And on days that you go down the rabbit hole, just ask yourself those two questions, and it will. And some days you don't have to do anything. Some days, well, I need more time, maybe on the ground, my feet in the grass, or walking, or whatever. There's that part we didn't talk about, but there is, especially if you've done big things in the last 6 months, you need rest.
So I did take some rest over the holidays too, which is like, it felt so good to do it, but a little bit was guilt, and then will my business suffer for taking this rest? And I did go to the cottage and said it to my family last week, I'm going to the cottage. And to which they were like, good, go. And I got a lot of rest, and I've started to show up like as this person who does have build programs like this week, just showing up that way in my business. But I love this. I think I'll put it on a post-it. Who are we in the gap?
Yes.
And
Who
put
am
it
I
on
in
my
the gap?
computer.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Amazing. Oh my gosh, this we could go on forever. Would everybody mind if you have a book? I'd like to take a quick picture.
Oh, yes.
Social media love.
Yes.
And yeah, I don't know if we can do a screenshot on the gallery as well. I'll try, but I'm always trying to do multitasks here, but this is so great. I know I need one more finger. How can I do this so I can get a screenshot? But someone can send me one.
Let's.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
okay.
Yeah,
Lean,
I
were you
want to
able to
share
get
as
one?
well. I want to share all of you as well. You send it to me, or I'll share yours, whatever we'll do.
Yeah, if I can figure this out. I need one more finger.
Me too. Wait. Oh, I don't have my
Wait,
phone. I could have taken a phone.
okay, I'll do it. No, I'll do one with my
I'll
phone
do
too.
one. I'll do
I'm
one.
doing it, Helen. I'm doing it. I'm doing it.
Oh,
Don't
you're
worry.
Oh,
doing
you
it.
are?
All
Did you
right.
get the gallery view?
I'm
Because
doing
last time I
loads. I'm
think
doing
we
loads.
only had the author.
Everybody look into the eye of the camera, and there we go.
Thank you. Oh my gosh. As I said, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh my gosh. I'm so glad we met that many years ago. When I saw your retreat in Paris, I was like, oh, I want to be there. And I'm going to see my daughter there. And
Yeah.
Emmeline I met, who's been living there, but unfortunately, we're not going to meet up in person. But she's going on a silent retreat, which is, I mean, this group, we could be just chatting forever. If you want to put, I think everyone shared their takeaway. I will share the recording. And, I'm so blessed to have met you. And I know we'll see each other. I would love a real hug at some point in the future,
Yes, we will.
Angélique. And I'm so hopeful for the women, even the women here, and as we connect with others, to really support one another with this being visible. Because we all have something to share and we all have special gifts, and it's just allowing ourselves to step into that. And I'm so excited for everyone. Hey, it's only March. The year, like 2025, there's a lot of 2025 left. I wrote a letter to myself, my future her, to read on December 31st, 2025. So, and I'm a work in progress too. This has been decades of unraveling myself in a way, and all those limiting beliefs and all those other emotional challenges. So, I want to just thank everybody for coming today. Our next book circle is the fourth Friday of every month. And this year, as I mentioned to some who have been here, I've decided to pick all women authors this year. And so I'm really excited about the ones coming up. But next time is The Words We Wear. So it's kind of a very Vera, who's going to be here, very similar themes coming up. So anyway, I am so grateful. Thank you so much. I want to be respectful of the rest of the time. And yeah, book a one-on-one with Angélique, myself, Karen, everyone here. Get to know each other. And I hope you have a wonderful weekend. So thanks again, and we will see you soon.
Thank you.